Stonebridge Photography Club, open, Class B. Meeting you halfway.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting rock formation as far as the rock lizard is concerned. His placement is okay. The only problem is there's a lot of negative space between of the rock between him and whatever that could be another lizard up on top in the upper right hand corner. I'd like to see them closer together, make a more compact image rather than so much space, and really just a lot of lost space in between. Out.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay. Nice view. It looks like it's either sunset or sunrise because you got a red sky in the bottom. I like the way the maker basically made up the image or constructed the image. I like the leading lines. Everything's leading you right up to the flag. I think it's an interesting image. In.
Volcano, Guatemala.
Okay. I like that little cloud bank on the bottom. I think that adds something to the image. The one problem with the image is it was taken at the wrong time of day. This looks more like, it's not midday, but more when the light is still harsh. Also, you devoted about 40% of the image to really a blank sky. If you had a lot of interesting clouds up there, it would be something else. But the sky is completely blank. I would take about at least half the sky off. Out.
Night blooming cirrus the morning before it bloomed.
Okay. The flower or the blossom or whatever it is nicely handled. I like that. It's an interesting piece. Except when you start to move around the image, you see a lot of leaves, you see a lot of busyness. You see I don't mind seeing part of the pot, but then you see the bottom and you'll see a little curb or a little cement thing on the right. You'll see the lines of the houses. When you shoot something like this, you want that to be the star. Now it is the star, but you do have other distractions and you want to try to minimize that if possible. Out.
What the heck?
Okay, well, the maker just basically took, it looks like some kind of street sign or some kind of old, almost even looks like a subway sign, but it's in tile. I think the sign is interesting. Might have wanted to see just a little more interest other than the sign. I see grass and I see a lawn behind it. It's really not doing a lot for me. Out.
Remains of a fallen acorn.
Well, it looks like a macro shot. I think it's interesting. The grass, while busy, doesn't really bother my eye as much as other distractions could. It's interesting to see the inside of the acorn. It's fairly sharp. I like the fact that the maker slightly offset it. It's not exactly centered, which compositionally is basically at times stronger. In.
Busy bee.
Okay. Well, the maker got, the bee fairly well. One thing when you shoot a macro shot or you shoot a flower, you like to shoot in some kind of even light. You don't want mixed light. You don't want contrasty light. You don't want highs and lows. It doesn't make for a satisfying image. And on the right, it's really hot. And you'll find white areas and hot areas basically bring your eye to it. So you don't want these type of distractions within your image. Out.
Bird on a branch.
Okay, the bird is captured fairly well. The lighting is not the best here. I like the way the branches on each side is kind of framing the bird. If I had my druthers, I wouldn't have the little branch up on the upper right, and I would crop the bottom a bit. And the bird could be a tad sharper. However, I do like the subject. I like the effort in.
Santa Fe Security.
It's an interesting image. I don't know if I'm seeing, it seems like the image might be going to the top of my screen and the bottom of my screen. I don't know if there's any more to it. So I'm going to assume that what I'm looking at is it. I like the plan on the bottom. I think the lines are interesting. I'm trying to figure out if I think they work well together. You know, I think they would have worked better together if I didn't have the window in the upper left, because the window is competing with the flower. So, you know, sometimes you have to look at something and say, well, simplicity is better. Simple is stronger. And in this case, just the interaction between the potted plant and the bars might have been a better contrast than having that window in the upper left. Out.
Yipes stripes.
All right, I think the maker cropped this well. You know, it looks like it works well with a pano crop. Lighting is working a little bit against you. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of harsh light. And if in a perfect world, I wouldn't have had that zebra in the background. Out.
Serenity.
All right, it's a pretty well-framed shot of a gazebo on a lake. Lighting is not dramatic. Remember, guys, lighting is an exceptionally important part of photography. People say lighting is everything. And this scene could change 180 degrees out if you had compelling lighting, which this was shot, you know, probably around midday or somewhere other than early or late. But I think the maker framed it really well. So I'll say in.
Lone bud emerging.
Okay. All right. A good sharp image of a magnolia blossom. On these type of images, I probably would have preferred it on a slight angle rather than just like statically up and down. However, the lighting is good. The background, I know there's something in the background, but it's out of focus enough where it's not really distracting my eye. In.
Emerald Isle.
Okay. All right, I think the maker used the pond fairly well. You know, it's almost a leading line. You should look at the pond and it's leading you back to the reeds and then that little grassy area. And then the path and the tree on the left, on the upper left looks like it's anchoring the upper left. If you work in Photoshop, I would have taken a little pot out on the right side. You know, there's no reason to have it in and cut it. I would have either included it or excluded it. It's a minor point, but it's still a point. I think all in all, you know, the maker handled this well. It looks like it was shot on a cloudy day, so I don't see any highs and lows. 7.
A thing of beauty.
All right, well, the maker shot some bromeliads here. I used to collect these things. Some are very nice, but what you have here is you have a bromeliad in the foreground, you have a red bromeliad on the left and that's cut in the background, you have a neurogylia on the right with a red center, and then you have various other plants on the right, like an orchid on the right that's cut. What you need to do is, I could see the maker looking at this and saying, wow, look how pretty plants, I just want to take them all, they're just beautiful. But they don't photograph well when you have a composition that's as spread out as this. In the future, try to focus on something on either the neurogylia in the back or the blooming bromeliad in the foreground. Just try to create something rather than just the whole here. Out.
Desert towers.
All right, I like how the maker cropped it. The maker cropped the image pretty well, except it's tight on the top. I would have opened it up more. You never want to get this close. I don't think there's a reason why you had to crop it this close, unless that was the end of the frame. So always leave a little more room. Don't have it touching the edge. The pano is nicely done. The only one problem is it's the lighting. This lighting is harsh. And you want to get this late in the day or you want to get it early in the morning, because this thing will light up beautifully and light up entirely differently. It won't look anything like this. Out.
Cherries.
Okay. All right. The maker did something to this, whether they created an effect with it, or they used a filter, or they put it under glass, or whatever they did. I think it's fairly effective. I kind of like the impressionistic look that this is giving. It just kind of appeals to me. And, the way it's cropped.
Church and cemetery between the trees.
Let me ask you a question. On your screen, is the bottom of the image a bush?
Is where we were before.
Yeah, you see, the only thing I didn't see on that was that little lip on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's what was cut off. Everything else I saw. Okay, but that helps the image, in my opinion. Okay, I think the image is well framed. I like the subject matter. I think the base works on the image. It looks like a wall of some sort. Maybe, if I want to be picky, I might say just get a little bit more of the wall. But I think the image is pretty well handled.
Snowstorm.
I'm going to put this, let me put this at fit to window. Let me see. Yeah, I can see this whole thing. Okay.
Well, most of them you probably will see.
Yeah.
You're going to have a problem with the portrait shots.
Yeah, that's what I'll probably have a problem with. Okay. I think the light with the snow on it is well placed. Maybe just a hair more on the bottom, give it a little more base. I don't think you need as much on the right. And the light that's coming through the image on the right, in my opinion, is not helping the image. It's kind of distracting. It's becoming the star of the image because it's the most attracting part of the image, but it is probably, the least clear and probably, showing the least. So I think if the image would have been cropped a little bit to the right of where the light is, and that light eliminated, I think it would have been a lot stronger image out.
High stepper.
Let me just see something here. Okay. All right. I can reduce these images very quickly. So, I can go back and forth.
Good.
Okay. You caught the heron in habitat. It would have probably been better if you didn't center the heron, but the heron was a little bit moved over to the right, because you generally compositionally want more space in front of the subject than in the back of the subject, whichever way the subject is facing. In other words, if facing left, you want more room on the left side than on the right side. But what the maker ended up doing here is centering the bird. Also, the light is behind the bird. You would like the light hitting the bird, so that which basically would show the bird off better. Out.
Nut's edge.
Okay. I think this is an interesting image. I like the muted background. That reddish background, that dark reddish background, seems to show off, the leaves here. Lighting, it's a bit bright, but not overly harsh, and it's forming the way it is. It's forming like pattern, so to speak. And I like the fact that it's kind of arcing on either side. And I think it works in.
The red door.
Okay. All right, well, what the maker ended up, I think the maker flashed it, because I see the flash and I see his fingers. Or at least it looks like his fingers. And I think that it would have been very helpful if the maker positioned themselves somewhere where you didn't see the flash and the reflection, and you didn't see a real bright light, because this right here is hurting the image. And I would definitely have shifted myself somewhere where it wasn't present. Also, I would have not centered the square. I might have offset the square. Now, I'm not saying that when you center something, you shouldn't center anything, because that's not fully valid. But in some cases, or many cases, it's better to offset it, as compositionally it becomes stronger out.
Catching the wind.
Okay. All right. I think what's one of the better parts of this image, I think technically it's handled fine, is the shadow. I think the shadows playing against the sail adds a lot of adds a nice element to the image. The clouds on the right side fills some of this back, some of the background, gives it some interest. I think for what it is, the image is fairly well balanced. Obviously, I like to see a little warmer lighting, but needless to say, I think the image for what it is, it's well handled. 7.
Red layers.
I'm sorry, in. In.
Yeah.
All right, it's a nice panel. As you can see here, this is like either early or late light. It just, especially out west, you have the red rock out there, and when you shoot it in the daytime, it becomes brown blah rock. But you shoot it either early morning or later in the day, and it really it gives it life. And this image has a lot of life, and I like the way to make her cropped it because you have a very uninteresting sky. So you minimize the sky and you minimize the ground area also, which I think you handled composition. I think you handled it very well. In.
Okay. We have 17 pictures for round 2.
Round 2.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay, let me just, I'm going to read, okay. Give that a 9.
Remains of a fallen acorn.
7.
Bird on a branch.
7.
Serenity.
8.
Lone bud emerging.
8.
Emerald Isle.
8.
Hold on. Let me just. Can you see it now?
No, I can't. I see you.
Okay, let me just exit out of here. Give me a second.
Sure.
What do you see now? You still see me?
Same thing. Yeah. That's the case.
I'm resharing it.
Okay.
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 And
Yeah, I see the.
you're right. Hold on.
Yeah, I see the Contest Pro. That's what
Yeah. Okay. Here we were.
Oh, that's where we are.
Yeah.
8.
Cherries.
7.
Church and cemetery between the trees.
8.
Nut's Edge.
7.
Catching the wind.
I'll give it a 9.
Red layers.
9.
Okay, so what we have here is 3 9s. So what we're going to do now,
Or second and third.
right? So I can go between them.
Okay. I can tell you what they are.
Good.
The panel of the red rock is
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
The bridge is second. And the sail is third.
Okay. Open Class B, third place, Catching the Wind. Jack, congratulations. Second place, Brooklyn Bridge. Ed, great job. And the first place, Red Layers. Ed, again, great job. Okay, now we're going to go to Open A.
That's the middle group. Okay.
That's the middle group, right? And we
How
have
many you got?
we have 17 people in this one. 17 pictures, I mean.
Gotcha.
Not people, pictures. Okay, hybrid.
Okay. Interesting subject matter. As I kind of said before, when you're shooting something like this, backgrounds are very important. The lighting here is okay on the subject, but the backgrounds, you just can't have a lot of distractions in the backgrounds for this to be a strong image. And you do have distractions back there, taking away from the star, which is the the flower out.
Summer's fun. Oh boy.
Okay, nice looking little boy. I'm looking at the background. The background's very hot, and you have a line going through the center of the boy's head. Actually, the background line. If this is a grandson or a relative, I would, and you wanted to get a strong artistic image, not just a grab shot, but a strong artistic image. You might have placed the boy with a better background and better lighting. Out.
Dolls, dolls, dolls.
I think this is an interesting image. Subject matter is certainly interesting with those Russian type dolls. I like the color. I like the subject matter. One thing I might have done is I might have cropped that doll lady out on the upper right, because it would have given you more of a symmetrical background and not something of further interest to pull your eye away from the three dolls on the left. So I would have probably have done that. I think it would have been more effective, but we'll say in.
A real Kodak moment.
I think the black and white works very well here. I think you captured the camera nicely. And I think it's effective. I might have eliminated that white picture on the upper left. I don't think that's helping the image. I think it's becoming somewhat of a distraction. But I do like the idea, and I do like the way you did capture the camera itself. 7.
Dumbo.
All right. All right. Interesting design. I like, the colors are nice, the way it's lit. This becomes very subjective. Now, does the judge like the design or does he not? Or she not? And I look at this and I'm really not that crazy about the little line on the bottom. I think that could have been eliminated and brought up, and it'd probably be more effective and maybe cropped a little bit from the left. I think it would have made a stronger image. I think you have more in here than you really need. Out.
Far away.
I like the fact that the little girl's head's on an angle. I think that works best. Background looks like some kind of a painting or something, some artistic thing, but it is pretty well muted. And I really don't, it's not that distracting except for the lower right, which it looks like a wheel with spokes in it. I mean, it could be a design that kind of looks like that. I might have moved, well, no, I'm looking at it. I probably positioned her okay. I might have just looked for a different background and try to get the hot area off, that little spot off her forehead and the little bright area on the right of her shoulder. I probably would have tried to move her so I would eliminate some of that. But I'll say in.
Through the Ferris wheel.
Okay, let me enlarge this. Let's look at this. Okay, Very symmetrical image. I think the maker framed it, interestingly and well. I think this probably also be very effective in black and white, this type of image. 7.
Mother and child together.
Okay. I think it's a cute image. I see the maker blurred had like a blur vignette on this thing in order to give the animal more accentuation, so to speak. I think what makes this, now usually on a camera angle, I don't like an upper angle looking down. I like more, when you're looking at nature, this isn't a nature competition, so that's why I'm not going to apply this. But when you look at nature, you like to be kind of eye level with the subject, and here you're definitely looking down. But what helps this is the little one that's underneath, and it gives, this kind of angle doesn't, it kind of enhances that to some degree. Even though eye level, you would have still gotten, the similar look. I'm not that nuts about the vignetting, but but the animal's sharp and the lighting is good. 7.
Tropical braids.
I think the subject matter here is very interesting. I'm very up on plants, and I've never seen this. This is pretty rare or unusual, so to speak. The lighting is even lighting. There's no highs and lows. I would have tried to eliminate that. I would try to not show that little white area in the upper right. I would have tried to get rid of that. Maybe it seems to be all right on top, but there's also a fair amount of stuff going on around the image. But we'll say in.
Iris love.
All right, the maker took a very painterly look to this because it almost looks like a painting. I'm gonna, listen, if this is a picture of a painting, which it looks very much like to me, I would give this a very low score because you're shooting somebody else's art. And but I'm like 90% it's a painting, but I'm not fully sure. So I'm going to say that I'm just going to look at it as if it wasn't a painting. And I'll say that I think you have more in the image than you really should because it's hard to see a center of interest. I realize the one on the, in the front and the left is the dominant flower. But you have so much going on and so much darker and lighter that it's taking away from the dominant one. So you basically just have a mass. And I don't think you need quite as much stem as you're showing in the image. I think you shorten that somewhat, maybe by a third. I think it might have been more helpful. And in the future, you don't want to put a decorative frame around a subject that you're showing because we're not judging frames here, we're judging the image. So you want to keep a very simple approach to it when you show an image out.
Doheny Street Synagogue, Budapest.
All right. Well, it looks like, by the sky, it looks like a very cloudy day. So it looks, it looks fairly overcast. So you're getting some even lighting on the image, but it's kind of subject. You want even lighting. You don't want mixed lighting on it. The tree doesn't necessarily bother me so much on the right. And obviously you have the inverse, perspective. I'm not sure what's on the left. It looks like there could be it doesn't look like it's in the shot itself. It looks like it could be spotty or dirt or something, but I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like it doesn't belong there. Out.
Lombard Street with the crookedest in the nation.
Well, I wouldn't know that by the image. because you're not really seeing the street. You have very mixed lighting here. Yes, if you wanted to show, look at all the shrubbery and all the beautiful rhodies and all this stuff that's blooming and the prune trees and stuff, and you want to just show a friend the image, it's fine. But artistically speaking, I would have eliminated the cars. I would have eliminated the person. The sign is really not helping here. It's basically bringing your eye right into it. And I have to say, the sky does look a little bit funky in the clouds look a little bit funky in the image. Out.
Jenny.
I like Jenny. I like her face. Obviously, it looks like a studio shot. I think you got enough of Jenny. I don't like the position Jenny's in. I like everything about it, except I think she should be moved more over to the right and had the amount of room on the right on the left. So that's how I might have handled it. So to help it a little bit, you might crop a little bit off the right, which would maybe balance it better. But I think technically, I think the image is handled very well. The lighting is good. In.
Serviceberry tree leaf.
Okay. Leaves are very pretty, colorful. You put it on like either it is a black and white or you made it black and white, like a stone background. It's very symmetrical. I think the image was nicely created because I don't think you found them like that. They were obviously created that way. It makes for a nice looking image. In.
Door and door.
Okay, interesting door. I like the aged of it. You know the look of the old wood and so forth, and the paint peeling on the side and the pillars to the left and to the right of the doorway. Someday, if you're interested in Photoshop, there are ways to straighten this so you don't have an angle going from the top down to the left if you're so inclined to do that. Just thought I'd be helpful there with a tip. In.
Dashing design.
Okay, looks like falling waters. I'm not sure what the maker was trying to do here. I see a lot of spots in here. Looks like dabs of things that are basically all over. It looks like, maybe the maker tried to make it look painterly and put dabs of impressionist painting in here. I'm just trying to interpret what the maker, in my eyes, what the maker is trying to do here. But I don't, also the lighting is very harsh. And the lower left, or the 2/3 down on the left, I'm trying to figure out the benefit of that area and what the maker was trying to convey there. Out.
Ripple.
Okay, I like this. I like the view. I like the shingles. I like the flow of the image. I like the way it leads into that pyramid-shaped brick wall on the right. The clouds, a nice little added feature. If I want to be picky, the only thing I might have gotten rid of is the black line. In other words, the roof line on the bottom. I would have either cropped it or gotten it out somehow. And I think it would have made it a little stronger. In.
Okay, so we have 10 for round 2.
Okay.
Dolls, dolls, dolls.
Seven.
A real Kodak moment.
8.
Far away.
7.
Through the Ferris wheel.
7.
Mother and child together.
7.
Tropical braids.
7,
Jenny.
8,
Serviceberry tree leaf.
8,
Door and door.
8,
Ripple.
9,
Okay, we're going to definitely give this one first place. And over here, we're going to get second and third.
So should I eliminate 1?
Just
Oh, second and third. So
second and third. Yeah,
I pick 2. All right. All right.
I'm sorry. Let me go back into it. I'm going to do V here and here.
All right. I'll say the girl is second,
Okay.
and I'll take the leaves as third. Those.
Okay. Open Class A, third place, Serviceberry tree leaf, Dave Cohn. Congratulations, Dave. Second place, Jenny, Jack. Nice job. And first place, Ripple, Harvey. Very nice. Okay, now we're going to go into Open Class AA,
Okay.
24. Grand Teton Pano.
Okay. Obviously, this does call for a pano. I think the maker did the right job by making it a pano. I would not have cut it so close to the top as the maker did. And I probably would have given a little more breathing room on the bottom. I think it's just very, very tight. And I don't think, unless the image was actually made that way, I don't think you need to be that tight on the image. You can open it up just a little bit. Lighting is okay. You have, sparse lighting, but you have a cloudy day, so the light's going to filter down into certain areas. 7.
That's in.
Oh, I'm sorry, in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just double checking.
Yeah, I'm used to give a 7 sometimes.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
It's in, but yeah.
Not my type.
Okay, interesting angle looking at the pelican. Lighting is side lighting. I think it's a little bit hot on his head. I'd like to see detail on his head. But also, even though the sky has some interest, you don't need so much of it because it's throwing the balance of the composition off. I would have cropped about half the sky from the top of the head up, and I think you'd have made it a tighter image, and maybe even brought it in a little bit from the left. I don't think you need quite that much room on the left side. And I think tightening it up a bit would have made it more effective. Out.
I thought you were dead.
All right. It's a butterfly depicted in a way that I'm not sure how it's depicted, but it's depicted. Interesting. It looks like, a butterfly type of abstract. I think you have more around it than you might need. I think you have more in the front than you actually need. I might have tightened it up a bit. See, this comes down. This type of image comes down to subjectivity. Whether the judge really likes it or he has his doubts. And one judge might love it, and one judge might not. So I just want the maker to realize that. This image is really not doing a lot for me personally, so I'm going to say out.
Swimmer.
Okay, I thought you caught the boy at a good moment. He's coming out of the water. The splash is being blurred, shows motion, which is fine. I was thinking that there might be a little bit too much on the right, but yet you caught the little boy's foot here, it looks like. So, you know, I'll say that's okay. And I like the way you cropped it. I think you cropped it well. There's no distractions, no other kids, there's nothing. And I think it's a very effective image.
Walk into the light.
Okay. This with some kind of you know, a lighting glare, which it has, and also showing, you know, it's kind of blurry, you know, showing motion. And then you have the bright light in the back. But, you know, when you put all this stuff together, it kind of makes for an abstract, kind of an interesting image. So, you know, some judges might look at it very technically and say, wow, you got this. I don't know. I'm looking at it on a more artistic basis, and I kind of think it works.
Daffodil and shadow.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the daffodil is, you know, pretty well handled. It's pretty sharp. It's pretty you know, lighting. While the lighting is a little spotty, it's not real harsh. Because the bright area is on the yellow, and the yellow seems fairly muted. Nothing's blown out. Now the question is, do I think the shadow works? And I think the shadow is not as distinct as I'd like to see a shadow of that subject. I think there's too much unevenness here. In other words, it's not depicting the subject matter sharply as far as the shadow. It almost looks like a big black bug or a spider or something there. So I don't think it's really helping the image. It's out.
Flowers in coral.
Okay. Well, I'm not even going to wonder if that stuff grows there, but the background is nicely muted. You got, you know, fairly soft light. It doesn't look like harsh light on the flowers itself. They're centered, but it's not the end of the world. But I think in the most part, the image is well handled. That those couple little sticks coming out of the top, if you had the ability to get rid of them, I would have. I'm wondering if these flowers are even real, but it really doesn't matter. But I would have gotten rid of those two top stems. I don't think they're helping your image at all.
Suspicious.
Real neat look on the dog's face. I love the look. It's given, like, you know, can't fool me. And what's important that's sharp here is the face and the eyes and so forth, and everything on the face seems to be fairly sharp, and then it kind of falls off as it's going to the bottom. But that's the whole essence of the image, is the character of the dog. So we'll say in.
Strumming along on the hammock.
All right, it's an interesting effect. I kind of think it's different. I'm not sure if they call this solarizing, maybe. You can correct me later if I'm wrong. I like how it's done. I can make out everything with the subject. I like how the guitar itself is kind of silhouetted. What I'm not crazy about is, I don't know why, I wish you didn't cut the hand and the end of the guitar. Because I think that's an important area, and I would have liked to have seen that, more of that. But outside of that, I think it's creative. 7.
Lupine surrounded by evergreens and boulders.
Okay. All right. Well, you're looking at an environmental shot where you got wild lupins out there, and in a forest of pine trees. I don't think the composition is off. You know, I think you could have a stronger composition out of this. But what's killing this image is the lighting. It's so harsh, and it's such the wrong time of day, and it's so bright. And I would have definitely have preferred this in warmer light. I think you wouldn't even recognize the image. It would be so different, and it would be so much more compelling and so much more impact out.
Abstract window.
Well, I think the shape of this window is really nice. It's really unusual. Um, I was in Edinburgh about a year ago, and I was at a place where they had windows like this, and I photographed them. Um, I think what's interesting here is you have the old and the new. This looks like the shot that's inside looks very conventional, and yet you have a very modern outside. And I think the contrast between the two adds interest to the image. In
White petunia.
your white petunia looks a little backlit, which is okay, it's fine. And the background's fairly muted, except the center petunia is your star. It's your star of the image. That's what you're trying to people to concentrate on, to look at. You don't want another petunia in the image distracting you and taking away from the star. And that's what is happening here. Out.
Deadly hemp snake.
All right, interesting. The maker did a square vignette in this to try to, obviously, give it a look. Also, you might have applied like a sepia or some kind of a brownish tint to it to give it an age look. But it probably added a bit more to the base. I think you need a little bit more on the bottom, and I'm not sure I like the blurry look on either side of the hemp. I think I might have wanted to see that sharp and not blurry. I don't think the blurriness is really overall helping the image, in my opinion. I think it might be taking away from the image. Out.
Red, white, and blue.
Well, certainly saturated, but listen, the maker. It looks to me like the maker tried to make this more like a graphic than anything else, and I think the maker succeeded in that respect. I think it's interesting. I think the sneakers are interesting. Believe me, you can't take your eyes off the sneakers in this image. The lines on the ground, I think they add further interest. I don't think they hurt the image. And then you have the blue jeans, which is a variation of the lines, but yet darker and so forth. I think the image works well, and I like the way you position the feet within the frame. In
Chalker artist working hard.
Now, I think this is a very interesting image. I like the fact of what the subject is doing. She's working with art. She's working with pastels. I think you have a good view of what the maker is actually doing. And the lighting is, it's normal lighting, but you're shooting somebody doing something. So it's more compelling here that what they're doing. The only thing I would suggest in the image that I would definitely prefer, and that you didn't crop the sneakers in the back, that you gave room and so we could see her feet with a little more room after her feet. I think that would have been a bit more compelling for me. I mean, compositionally. In
Texture in black and white.
Okay, I like the image. It's gritty. It's sharp. I think the black and white was handled very well here. I like the contrast. The biggest problem with black and white most people do is they don't have, it's flat. And this image is anything but flat. You can see detail in the shadows, which is in the foreground under the tire. And you can see detail in all the higher areas, the wood on the left and the lighter areas in the tire. This shot is, the composition is also good. This shot is very well handled. In
The beast within.
Okay, interesting shot of a window. It's a normal window, so the window itself is not that compelling. But I'm looking at the reflection, and I was wondering if just something to try that I might try is it might be more compelling if you had a closer view of the reflection itself. In other words, cut out a lot of the surrounding area of the window and focused on the window panes and the design and see if you could come up with something more compelling from that basis. In
And Aninga.
and Hinga.
Aninga.
And Hinga, and they're probably one of their favorite poses. But I think you did a nice job capturing the bird. I love the angle. I love the diagonal that you have the bird on. I think you've cropped it well. I think you got enough room pretty much everywhere to show its environment. And the clouds are beautifully soft and muted in the background. Your lighting is soft on the bird. I see detail everywhere, even in the darker areas of the bird. Nothing's blocked. Nothing is blown. Very, very nicely handled. In.
The king.
Okay. All right. Interesting portrait of the lion. Doing what they do a lot, they just sit there. And I think he has a very kind of a regal look on him. I might have left a little more room on top. The hairs are almost touching the edge of the frame. You don't need to do that. You can just bring it up just a little bit, just separate it a little bit more. Lighting, I think the lighting is not great, but I think you handled it as well as you could. Based on the lighting, you still have detail in the shadow areas, and you get mostly detail in the lighter areas. A couple little blown areas, but so I think you did the best you could for what you were dealing with. And a lot of times you can't shoot a lion when at the perfect light. 7.
Entwined couple.
Okay. If I wasn't turned off at people always looking at their phones, I might like this image more. But they're transfixed on a phone, which is an everyday event. I don't, I see the interaction, between the two. I feel the image is a little too tightly cropped on the left side by his elbow. I think you should open it up a little bit more there, maybe a hair more on the bottom. You could have even brought the top down just a hair. Out.
Rock and roaded.
Listen, I think especially the subject on the left, I think is very interesting. And, sometimes folks, when they look at something and they say, wow, I really like the way they all look. They look great. And they do have interest, all of them, especially the one on the lower left. And then then you try to capture the whole thing. Well, sometimes it really doesn't work out that well. Yes, it's a representation of what you saw, and that's fine. That's fine. You want to show people, look at these rock formations, it's fine. Compositionally, it's not working well for me. You have this one formation over on the upper right that seems to be on the edge of the image. Then you have the center of interest, which is the large formation. That's over on the left. But my point is, your eye doesn't have a chance to rest anywhere. There's, the center of interest isn't strong enough to hold you to.
Dave?
He froze.
I hope he can unfreeze. We just,
To it. Oh,
Dave, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, let me go back into it.
You froze for a moment.
Okay, back we are.
Frozen again. He's frozen.
Dave? Oh boy. Dave? Let's see where Dave is.
Oh.
Dave?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Okay, then we can go back in. We'll go back in.
I haven't touched anything, so I don't know what's going on.
It happens. It happens.
Oh, okay, as long as it's not me.
Okay, go ahead. Dave?
I think he said out on that one, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't hear him. That's why I'm not gonna.
Oh,
Dave?
wait. No, I don't have it.
Dave?
Maybe he should log out and log back in.
Yeah, hold on. That's a good idea. Dave, can you log in and out? Is he, all right, Dave?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I don't know how much of the picture that they heard. Okay. I don't know how much of this comment that they heard.
Why don't you ready to rate it in or out?
Out.
Jellyfish.
Let me bring this down. Okay. All right. Nice capture of the jellyfish. I like the angle it's on. I think it's a little tight on the top and to the right, but I think other than that, I think it's handled well. In.
Colorful dancer.
Okay, let me just. Okay. Wow. Certainly has your interest.
Dave?
Um,
Can you hear us, Dave? Yes, we can't hear you.
No, we can't. Dave?
you know.
You want to log it out?
Well, hold it. You know, a little sign came up and said your internet connection is unstable.
Ah, that's not good.
It came up on my screen.
Yeah, that's your end.
All right. Well, 2 days ago, I got a brand new modem. I'm up and running. I have no problems. So,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm showing all my lights lit. So,
All right, so I'll try it again.
yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. The only thing I might eliminate on this image is the bottom section where you have the red feathers on the bottom. I think it would have made it a stronger image. In.
Yellow orchids.
Okay. All right, you know, the black background always makes, you know, flowers pop or subject matter pop. I think the lighting is a little bit harsh. It's a little bit brighter than I'd like to see in this type of image. Also, it's a very busy image. You have a lot of things going on. I would try to focus down with less subject matter and get a more compelling image out.
Okay, so we have round 2, we have 15.
All right,
Grand Teton Panel.
8,
Swimmer.
9,
Walk into the light.
7,
Flower in coral.
7,
Suspicious.
8,
Strumming along on the hammock.
7,
Abstract window.
7,
Red, white, and blue.
9,
Chalk artist working hard.
8,
Textures in black and white.
9,
The beasts within.
7,
And Aniga,
9,
the king.
7,
The jellyfish.
8,
Colorful dancer.
8.
Okay. Here we're going to have first, second, third, and the other one will be an honorable mention.
Okay. And I'm going to pick the tires as first,
Okay.
the Anhinga as second, uh, hmm. Mhm. Pick the sneakers as third, the little boy as honorable mention.
Okay, open class AA. Honorable mention, swimmer Sandy Finkelstein. Congratulations. Third place, red, white, and blue, Bobby. Very nice. Second place, Aniga Mario. Beautiful job. And first place, textures in black and white, Sandy. Fantastic. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go into night shots. Class B, we have 18.
Dave, I think we might have to pick up the pace a little. We're running a bit behind.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll do it quickly.
Okay. Night blooming cirrus plant.
All right. Image is a bit harsh. Lighting is a bit harsh. It's kind of blowing things out. Out.
Sunset over Zambazi River.
All right. I wish the sun wasn't exactly centered. Nothing looks very sharp in this image. You could have cropped the sky down a little bit. Out.
Prismatic mist.
All right, the mist is there, but everything else doesn't really, well, I need time to look at this. The image to me is not that compelling. I don't think the mist gives that great an atmosphere to the image. Out.
Monumental sky.
All right, I love the sky. I think the pastel is beautiful. I would have definitely have cropped about 2/3 off the bottom. You don't need that much negative space at all. And I think you have a lot stronger images. But the sky is just beautiful in.
Tivoli by night.
Well, hold it a minute. Was that shot nighttime considered nighttime? It's a silhouette, but was it considered night?
This?
No, the previous shot. I'm just asking. This is dawn. This is not night. That's why I'm asking. And it's a silhouette. I don't want to be the bad guy here, but you know. It doesn't.
Well, Rich.
The sky is beautiful, but it doesn't represent nighttime.
What did we say? Dusk to dawn?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you say, well, okay. Well, I didn't know that. I just heard nighttime.
Okay.
Okay, so it's in.
Hold on.
So that means the sunset and the sunrise is all right.
Yeah, Tivoli by night.
That's what you're telling me. Okay. All right, interesting shot of this, lit up building. I wish it wasn't on an angle. I wish it was straighter. And I think you could have cropped some off the bottom and just showed more of the building than the information on the bottom out.
Nighttime.
Okay. I think the slats or whatever those white pieces are interesting, but I don't think the background really isn't very compelling. Out.
What does it say?
I think it's an interesting building. I would prefer the guy on the right that wasn't there, who's walking into the image. You have to look at those things. Out.
Yikes, what's that on my hand?
This is not a nighttime shot. This is a chameleon on a hand with a dark background.
All right, you want to DQ it?
I'm DQing it.
All right, the same thing as the 6. Reach for the sky.
All right, I think it's an interesting perspective of the Eiffel Tower. I like your perspective. The image looks a little grainy because it was shot with, low resolution. I do like the composition. I don't like the grain. In.
Full moon over a neighbor's house at sunset.
All right. All right, well, the moon, it really doesn't look, well, I have to look at this as being some kind of an abstract or well, the image just doesn't look anything like it even belongs there. And the roof is not that compelling. The light on the roof is nice. The clouds in the background are nice. The combination of the two just isn't working for me. Out.
Unloading.
All right, the lines are interesting as far as the boom lines coming out, and you're creating the walkway. I think it's an interesting shot. I think it's technically fairly well handled. 7.
Still of the night.
Okay. Well, the maker flashed the tree, and the tree is pretty bright in the image, and obviously the light's falling off in the background. Subject matter is not that compelling. Out.
St. Basil's Cathedral.
Well, obviously the subject matter is very nice. I would like to see it not on an angle. If you look at the statue in the foreground, you'll see the plate in the statue. It shows you what kind of angle it's on. And I would have liked to have not seen the top cut off of the tower. Out.
Full moon illuminates a cloudy sky.
All right, well, the moon looks like it's obviously pasted in there. And it just doesn't seem to work well with me. Out.
Dominion.
All right, here we're showing castle. Down below the castle, we're showing the water. Shot at night. A lot of noise in the image. I think the noise is really really hurting the image. It was shot with either a cell phone or a very low res camera. Out.
Christmas in Cranberry.
All right, I think this is an interesting image. I might have cropped it a little bit on the right, just after that little red thing, whatever is on the right. And I would have given a little bit more room on top. In.
Lunar Fantasia.
Well, it's a similar thing to what we've seen, I've seen with the other planet or moon shots. In some respect, I do like the way the maker did with the, with the cloud cover in there. I'm not sure I like the green moon that's half on the bottom, that's cut off, and the roof is not compelling at all. Out.
Eternal Flame.
All right, I think this is interesting. I like the way the light is channeled onto the flag, and it's it's forming like a V. I think it's interesting composition. In
Okay, round 2. Themes, night shots, monumental sky.
8,
Reach for the sky.
7,
Unloading.
7,
Christmas in Cranberry.
8,
Eternal flame.
7.
Okay, so we have 2 here. From here, we're going to get a first and a second.
Okay. I'll go with that as the first.
Which one?
The pastel sky.
Okay. Let me just. From here, we'll just take one of them for third place.
Okay. I'll do the Eiffel Tower.
Okay, night shots, Class B, third place. Reach for the sky, Jerry. Second place, Christmas in Cranberry, Marvin, really nice. And first place, Monumental Sky, Ed, congratulations. Okay. Theme Class B, 16 pictures.
Class A, Mark.
Class A, I'm sorry. I'm on Class A, am I? Yeah, I am on Class A. It's a long night, guys.
It is a long night.
Okay, end of day.
Okay. All right, I think it's an interesting shot there. I wish it was a cleaner shot. There's a lot of things in here that I wish I didn't see, like all the lines that are the horizontal lines in the image, and all the telephone pole, whatever it is, the stuff on the trees on the lower right. I think all this is taking away from the drama and the beauty of the image out.
The Dahlia Garden Shot Night.
Okay. Dahlia looks good. There's a lot of detail in it. Nice even lighting. It's centered. It's not the end of the world. I think it's pretty well handled. I wouldn't see this as a real compelling night shot, but I'm going to let it go. In
Taiwan at Night from the Mound.
An interesting overview of the city. I wish it was kind of focused on something, because things have a way of blending in with others, and your eye really can't stop on any. There's no real center of interest. The boat is the brightest thing in there, but it's all broken up by buildings and so forth. I think you need to concentrate more on an area of the city than the overall out.
Good morning, sun.
I like the juxtaposition of the bird and the pilings and the sun. Nothing is sharp here. Everything is blurred. And I probably would have cropped a bit off the top and maybe a bit off the left. I would have tightened the image up just a little bit out.
City concert.
Okay, interesting building. See the maker, or there was lights in the foreground, so the foreground looks lit. Whether it's done with a lantern or it's done by a light, I don't know, but it is lit. Probably would have eliminated the right side. I don't think you need that lit area to the right of the building on the lower left, and maybe the building that's cut on the left also. You would have tightened it up and made it like 3 buildings in a more tighter format. Out.
The night before Christmas.
All right. This image is giving kind of a warm glow. It's a holiday. It's a holiday image. The tree is shown very nicely here. I like the lighting on the bottom of the image and the pattern that it creates. I think the image is well handled. In.
Bridge, Budapest.
All right. The bridge is nicely lit. I can see detail on the bridge, pretty, everywhere where it's lit, and there's not too many areas that are blocked, just in the foreground, but not much. I do like the lighting, the way it's the light beams, the way it's given. I think it's a well-handled image. In.
Tree at dusk.
All right, very plain, simple tree, but effective, effectively placed. Sky here is important. Maybe, well, I don't know if you want to darken the tree, but a little more contrast in the sky might even make it more compelling. If you put more contrast, you're going to darken the tree. But I don't know if making the tree more of a silhouette would actually hurt it. But overall, I like the composition. In.
Irish, Japanese at night.
All right. Okay, well, the background is obviously muted. I'm not sure what the background is. It looks like it could be water. And I think, the flowers look nice. They're Japanese irises. I might have cropped the bottom and brought that up about 1/3. I don't think you need that much green on the bottom, and brought the top down about halfway, about 40% down between the iris and the top of the frame. I think it would have made a tighter image and more compelling. In.
Buddha at night.
Okay. Lighting is okay. Is okay. I can make out everything with the image. There's a lot of intense shadowing, which there would be at night. I'm not sure if I like to fall out of the top of the Buddha's head, but also the lighting is fairly harsh. Out.
Peekaboo.
Interesting play with the looks like the moon and the clouds, and some of the reflection off of cloud in the sky on the left. I think you could have brought it in a bit on the left. I don't think you need quite that much of just negative space. It's not really not doing anything. You can bring it in a little bit more, and maybe bring in from the bottom too, where that little blue thing is, that little blue U, whatever that is. You might be able to bring it up to there. Out.
Night cruise.
See, the problem shooting at night is there are certain cameras that if they don't have a high enough resolution, you're going to get a lot of noise. And in some cases, some of these images really reflect a lot of noise. I think the bridge is handled pretty well. All the detail is there, even in the real bright areas. The reflection is nice. Composition is good. In.
Photo in the morning.
Well, I like the placement of the subject of the person in juxtaposition to the sun. I like the fact that it's creating a diagonal. I think that works very nicely. In.
Maui Tree Park.
All right. I think the trees are pretty interesting. When you have a bright light, when you have a warm light in the background and a bright light in the foreground, a white light in the foreground, it creates kind of a whole different effect to the image. In other words, they don't look like they go together. So that's a problem, and it's not the photographer's problem, it's the problem with the image itself. Out.
Start of night.
All right, nice soft image, interesting crop. I like the way the clouds are broken up here, and I like I like the reflection on the water, which gives you that much reason to have that much water. And in
New York, New York.
all right, nice nightscape of New York. You know, with a moon rising. In
Okay, we have 9 for round 2.
am I moving fast enough?
Yeah,
Okay. 7,
the night before Christmas.
9,
Bridge, Budapest.
9,
Tree at dusk.
8,
Irish Japanese at night.
7,
Night cruise.
8,
Photo in the morning.
8,
Start of night.
8,
New York, New York.
8.
Okay. From here, we're going to take a first and second.
Yeah, I'll give the bridge first and the Christmas tree second.
Okay, from here, we're going to take a third place.
All right, the bridge.
Okay, the night shots, Class A, third place. Night cruise, Flo Emin. Congratulations, Flo. Second place, night shot before Christmas, Jack. Nice job, Jack. And first place, Budapest, Harvey. Fantastic. Okay.
We're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
You're right back on schedule.
Am I?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
17 for AA. Here we go. Night in Chinatown.
Love this image. Love the mixture of the guy looking at a kitchen in the back and all the crap in the back of the store, the garbage cans and the rough. And this tells a story and creates a mood and is a very compelling image. In
Night Stalker.
interesting image. Obviously, the guy's on stilts, but lighting, you know, the subject matter is interesting, and even the little light. Now, I'm trying to figure out if this light, well, it fills a void. It helps you with a void in here because it is distinguishable. In
Wooden mooring.
all right, very simple subject, lit warmly, and good detail there, and you know, I think it's interesting. 7.
City Field.
All right, good overview, nice shot of City Field. The only, if I want to be picky, the only thing I would say is maybe a hair more on the bottom. That's all. 7.
Beach and night north of Wildwood.
You know, looking at this image, I love the pier. I love the sand. And I don't know, I'm not sure what's going on. And the way the light is affecting the other parts of the image, you know, I'm forced to do this quickly, and at times I need to take time to look at an image. And here's one that I would like to have more time looking at. And I'm looking at the sky, and it's because of the lighting. It looks certain. There's a funkiness to it that I'm not sure of. I'll give it a 7.
Admirers.
Okay. Shot at a boat in the pier. The person coming into the image that hasn't even come fully into the image in a blur. It's really not working for me. And I probably would have liked to see a little bit more of the boat and less of the dock out.
Miami skyline from Fisher Island.
Okay. All right. The boats on the left is very nice. Could have done without the boats on the right because all you're showing is a light. And one of the problems with the image is the maker wanted to get the moon in, which you can't get it sharp. It's only going to be like just a dab of light. And so you have a pretty blank sky, which is taking up a good part of this image. I would have cropped it down. I've eliminated the boat on the right. I would have cropped the image down, eliminated the moon, and I think you had a more interesting shot with the boat pointing into the city, which would have been a lot more effective. Out.
Night is approaching off the ship.
Okay. Interesting cloud formation. Obviously it's on a ship. Shot with a cell phone or a very low res image or a very highly cropped image, but you got noise all over the place in this. Out.
Back and foot rub.
All right, I think it's interesting. I think it's a very interesting shot. I love the subject matter. I love the different storefronts, and I like the lighting. Everything's sharp. It's a really, it's a nicely handled image, and it sets a mood. It sets a tone. In.
Cityscape at night.
All right. Well, we're at dusk, and you had a moon rising here. I like the city, I like the lights all lit up. I think you have enough water on the bottom. You kept that sky to get the sun, the moon. The moon's not doing a whole lot for the image, but it's there. Personally, I think it'd be more effective without the moon, but that's my opinion. In.
Stop.
Another compelling image. I like the angle of the image. I like the looking up. The people give you a sense of scale there. The people don't bother me being there. The perspective is interesting. In.
Eyes of the night.
All right, interesting view looking up at a pole. And, the lights are pretty well handled. Might have just cropped it a hair in more on the left. But outside of that, it's simple, but, it's interesting. 7.
Mr. Zulu, engage.
I think it's an interesting shot. I like the light beams. I'm not sure, obviously it's done there for an effect. Might have given it a little bit more room on the bottom, but it's not a major thing. I think it's interesting. 7.
Singapore Gardens.
Okay, that's a very interesting subject matter. Is this dome type thing with all the lights on it? Sometimes there's something called trying to get too much into an image, and in this case, I think you did. The piece on the left isn't helping. The lights on the left, that bright green thing, light on the lower right isn't helping. Little tower on the very bottom isn't helping. Sometimes it's better to concentrate on a single subject or a grouping, a small grouping, and get an interesting angle, and you'll get a lot more effective image out.
Full moon over New York.
All right. Almost looks like it almost doesn't look real. It almost looks like a complete graphic, and it does have a graphic quality to it, and it's a pleasing quality. I like the look. Put it that way. It's well balanced. The composition, the way the maker arranged it. In.
Lambertville Station at night.
Well, You see the the white lines of the moving vehicles. Obviously, it's a time exposure. I like the little starburst. I think that starburst is a lot more effective than you just have a bright light there. And I think for what it is, it's well handled.
Cityscape in black and white.
Okay, here's this is the ultimate, this is really a graphic technique, the way the maker did this. And, I think it's effective. And it's kind of image that you really want to look at for quite a while, because you want to look at a lot of different things and see if you can recognize things. And, I think it's well done. 7.
Okay, we've got 13 for round 2.
All righty.
Night in Chinatown.
9.
Night Stalker.
8.
Wooden Mooring.
8.
City Field.
7.
Beach at Night north of Wildwood.
7.
Back and Foot Rub.
8.
Cityscape at Night.
8.
Stop.
8.
Eyes of the Night.
7.
Mr. Zulu, Engage.
7.
Full Moon over New York.
9.
Lambertville Station at Night.
8.
Cityscape in black and white.
9.
Okay. From here, we're going to get first, second, and third.
First. The white, the black and white graphic, second, and the other
This
one's
one?
third. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Double A, Themes Night Shots. Third place, Full Moon over New York, Harvey Birnbaum. Congratulations, Harv. Second place, Cityscape in black and white, Harvey again. Fantastic. And first place, I don't think, Night Shot in Harvey, but tonight's your night.
I'll tell you what's odd about that day. Some of the shots were totally different.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know they were from the same maker.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to ask to unmute.
Dave,
Which
you
is-
have a few minutes for some questions?
sure.
Okay.
Sure. It's not like I got to get home.
And we're not paying you overtime.
Yes, that's for sure.
Questions?
What are you doing? What are you getting people on?
Oh, there are 2.
I'm doing the first, I'm doing the,
Mark, what I had tried to show you before, tell you about before, is in the Photo Competition Pro, on the right side on the score contest, there was an option for film strip height.
well, give me a minute. Honestly, give me a minute. Let me just get the rest of the people in here.
Sure.
Want to start with the questions while you're still getting the videos up?
Well, I've asked people, I can't start the video for them, but they,
Oh, I should start it?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Ask away.
Are you still with us?
I'm here.
Turn your video on. All right, while he's doing that, I guess everybody's now unmuted. So does anybody have any questions or comments for Dave?
I have a question for Dave. Thank you, Dave.
You were on tonight, Harvey.
Harvey, you're in the dark.
You see, I'm not a very good video maker, but maybe.
Yeah, you only did it for a living.
Harvey, you should be very happy tonight, Harvey.
I am, especially after having an argument with my wife.
Oh, I had to say that. I made
So
you.
this really picked me up. Thank you.
Oh, you
Again,
deserved it, Harvey. I didn't give you anything you didn't deserve.